the dark brown stuff hits the fan, then I'm going to want something I can depend on. I'm betting my life on this, kind of, aren't I? That's why I'm carrying it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Well, today we're going to continue and finish talking about water filters. So I've introduced them, I've unboxed them. Now I'm in the water. I'm standing in the water here, and we're going to actually use them. And you know, a lot of us are buying these for emergencies. And I have one. I have one in my van, and I never used it because I never had an emergency. And I can go. You know, I spend a quarter a gallon for water when I have to buy it somewhere, and that's good enough for me, filtered water. But I think everyone should have one of these on hand. As we saw with the pandemic, all of a sudden the world can be turned upside down, and we think it can't happen, but now we know as an absolute fact it can. So let's talk about keeping these water filters on hand. And you're going to be like me. You're going to have a filter you've put in the bag, in the van somewhere, or the car. You're carrying it, and so you're going to be just like me, opening it for the first time, trying to figure it out. Maybe YouTube's gone. You can't watch YouTube videos. So I'm going to fuss around here a little bit, and it's going to be a lot of user error. You'd figure a lot of this stuff out with trial and error over time. But we're just going to look at them as a new user perspective. Again, I am sold. Let me just give you I'll jump right to the end here. I'm sold on Gravity. My very first choice is this MSR, which is designed to be both a gravity filter and hook up to a bladder. So I bought a bladder, and I showed you hooking it up to a bladder. My second choice would be this Katadyn, which is also a really, really good thing. I don't recommend anything else. For me, talking only about my situation, I live in a van. This is kind of an emergency thing. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I need water now. This gives it to me. So here I am, standing in a puddle, big kind of a drying up lake, and we're going to test filling and filtering water with these different filters. And what I'm going to show you first is that one of the things you want to do is pre-filter your water. If you pre-filter your water, this is just a bandana. It's a $1 bandana you can get anywhere. But if you will pre-filter your water as you're filling it, your filter will last a lot longer. So, and I'm here in the shallow because sometimes you're going to be in really shallow water. You got to be able to fill this thing easily. So let's see how this works. I think I may have to pour it in. That's what some of the guys do, is they carry a container that they scoop and pour. The shallower your water gets, the more difficult that becomes, but I've only got just a pint of water in there so far. So it says here flow, and you want to make sure that that's the way the water is flowing. So with the flow going the right direction, you screw this end on. I don't know how long it'll take, but that's good enough. You got an hour, and I think you'd get this bag done at a gallon. And this is a screw cap, as you can see here. And so you could screw a 2-liter bottle onto that, and then it would flow directly into your 2-liter bottle. So this is why I love the Gravity filters, because they're so easy. You just set them up and they flow. Okay, I took off the cap so that it's not a vacuum. That's what was going on there. With the cap on, it was a vacuum. Now we got a pretty good flow of water going. So by far, this is the cheapest. It's the easiest, very simple. So this is the other Sawyer, and this is the filter. This is an on-the-go as you hike also. And the great thing about it is it's designed to use any bottle. All these bottles have the same threads. So you just fill your bottle, and then it just screws on the end. I mean, that's the ultimate in as you go. So you just fill this up. You got a cap for it, and then it's squeeze. This is a squeeze deal. That's now filtered water. The problem with this, there's the rubber, the gasket gone and kind of molding in there. See, that is a problem. I'd buy a 10 pack of these gaskets if I bought one of these Sawyers. You fill this, but then you got a tiny little hole. That's your problem here, is a tiny, tiny little hole. Let me kind of get up here in the shallowest part. You can see that's I'm just right on the. Can I get this thing full? Oh, I put the wrong end in there. Now that's contaminated. So I think the thing is you're going to have to carry a cup and pour water in this. That's the bottom line. And if you're on the really shallow, if this is all the water you have, but I would have a really hard time getting that full. I had that much in it out of the bag. So there are advantages to this, but that's not what I would buy. I wouldn't buy this. Even if I were a backpacker, I wouldn't buy this. Okay, so this is the other Katadyn. It has this great big opening. This is going to be easy to fill, I'm hoping. And it has the filter built in. So the filter's inside the bag, and you'll have to clean the filter, or eventually you're going to have to replace it, and it screws out. It's a bladder. It's much bigger. Well, it's only 6 liters, so it's the biggest one we have so far. Let's see how it is to fill. This is a gravity system. All right, well, I got a whole lot of water in there. That's the most water I've had in any of them. Okay, so if I'm camped right there, I come down here, I fill this thing, I take this back to camp, I hang it, and I gravity feed. That's what makes, this is what nomads need, something like this. The tiny opening coming out, this is, the filter's on the outside, and I'm going to lose it, I can damage it, I can lose the gaskets, really, really easy. And so I think this is going to be a lot better. This is actually the one from the MSR. But this is a universal one. This is where it'll work both on the MSR and on this. This is becoming a standard. So it just pops out. You can see it has, and then it goes in here. So there's a good flow, man. That's nice. So far, that's the winner. The Katadyn looks really good. This is a 6 liter. I think they make a 10 liter. So this is the MSR I showed you. It's designed to be attached to a hydration bag. This is the Osprey Hydraulics. We've looked at it. And it has the exact same hose system. I could take this and use it either on the Katadyn or near. This is becoming a standard now for the water filter bladder industry. So I just went out and bought an Osprey bladder. There are lots of bladders. You can buy any bladder. As long as it now has this universal adapter system, it just screws right in. I mean, it's just that simple. And now it's attached, now it's off. If I don't want to filter, I don't have to. If I want to, I can. If I want to use the bite valve, you can see that's the bite valve for the bladder. I can, it's a bite valve. I can take this off and put in just a hose, like the Katadyn, which I just showed you that. MSR, it has the same thing here. If you can see that, that says flow, MSR. MSR has been making these for about 10 years for the military. And they've just started making them for the civilian market. So this is a really high quality, really well proven technology. So this is a Ziploc bag, essentially. This is Osprey, this is not MSR. This is the Osprey Hydraulics. I don't know why I bought this one, I just did. I like this system. Getting big openings are really important with water. So now it's a big Ziploc. And it's, you know, that's a big opening. So this is a bladder, so it's intended to be used with a bite valve. And with bite valves, you bite them on them slightly, that opens them up, and then water can flow. So obviously you're not going to be able to tell how fast and how hard I'm sucking. I don't know how to define that for you. But if you watch bubbles, bubbles will flow through, and you can see how water's moving through here. I had to suck harder than I have on most bladders, but it works. When you want water, you can get water out of there. The main selling point of this MSR filter is you can both use it as a bite valve, like I just did, and I had to suck fairly hard, but it definitely worked, or as gravity. So that is a very good flow. And that's again, that's why when I bought this, I thought, man, this is a really good thing. Okay, so then finally there's this MSR. It's a little pump. It's a hybrid thing actually. It's very small. It's very light. So through hikers are going to love this, and it works with squeeze. It's a pump, but it's just a little hand pump. No nomad should buy this thing. It might work for a through hiker or a backpacker, but I'm not going to fill a gallon of water a day with this way. That's crazy. This is a very specific purpose item, and somebody living in a car, van, or RV is not one of them. That's the gasket from the Sawyer. It came off and is in here. I'm not happy with these gaskets. I don't think I'd buy a Sawyer product, because I think this is going to happen all the time. Now this is just a bottle. I'll just cut it open and get it out of there, but that's crazy. I'm only considering gravity, because nothing else makes sense for a nomad. You go to the water source, you fill it up, you go back to camp, you hang it, you got water. It just drains all the time, and it's so adaptable. It worked great as a gravity filter, and as long as the bag uses this kind of a plug, you're golden. It'll work with it, and it'll also work great as a bladder. Now I had to suck harder, and I've owned bladders and used bladders quite a lot in my life, and I would say I sucked harder on this than I would with most. No question, you're sucking it through the filter, but it works. You can do it, and so it's dual purpose, and I really like that. You can buy some really big bladders so that you could, and then because it's so easy to change them, you could have a couple 100-ounce bladders hanging, and then go down to the water, get your couple 100 ounces of water, take it back up, hang it, and then just move the filter from bladder to bladder. No question about it. My next choice would be the Katadyn bladder. I like a lot about this. I like the big opening. It'll be easier to fill. It has the universally adaptable opening here. So I can put the same hose on this and the other. I like the clear bag. They make a 10 liter, so it holds a lot. These are tough, well made. I like the filter being inside. No fussing. I'm not fussing with this thing. I don't have little parts that are going to get lost. It's all here, but to me, it's gravity only. The Sawyer, because of all the little parts and pieces you have to lose, and it's fussy and it's cheap. You're getting what you pay for, and so this is a place. If the dark brown stuff hits the fan, then I'm going to want something I can depend on. I'm betting my life on this, kind of, aren't I? That's why I'm carrying it as a filter, as an emergency backup thing. And I would rather spend more money and get less fuss, less stuff to lose, to break. I'd buy either the Katadyn or the MSR. But if you're on a budget, and then try the Sawyer. Before you make your final decision, I'm not an expert on water filter. Hopefully I've given you an overview and an idea of what to do and look for and think about as you're making your purchase. So if you narrow it down to, I want a gravity, no, I want a pump, I want whatever you want, go to Amazon and find the people who use them and are experts, and you're not looking at user error, which is probably what I'm giving you a lot of. Go study them. Okay, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later.